It's the off season. Then it's draft season, OTAs, mini camp, then training camp. But in the midst of those, in the middle of all that, we're clamoring on the hope that some good could come out of mini camp because we're itching for football. And well, good things happen and bad things happen. And that's what we're here to talk about today. Welcome to Off the Bench, episode 38, Turning Heads. Let's get to it. What up, what's good? What's happening? Welcome to another episode of Off the Bench. Guys, we are on the road to 500 subs, so be sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit that bell so you can get that notification for the latest episodes. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a recurring guest coming on today. Let's start off by this. The reason why I got my looks is because of him. The reason why I got my knowledge is because of him. And I've been to a few games because of him. So and let me go ahead and introduce this guy. He's very knowledgeable about the game. He is a fan. He's dished out thousands of dollars to go and see all type of sports games. So I mean, I would think because I mean I am his offspring that he knows a little something. And the reason why I say that is because I'm telling you guys about it. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing for the second time on the show, Herb Bridges Sr. What's going on, Pop?
Nothing much, young man. Nothing much. Happy to be around. Happy to be here. Yeah. Representing. It kind of makes you proud, father and son kind of deal. So
yeah, most definitely.
Except this way, it's the other way around. It's son and father. I'm the
one. Well, I mean, we give you credit because I like I've said this numerous times, and on this podcast, I want to make sure that I inform people. And you've informed me on a lot of the stuff that we talk about. So I don't want to. I want people to walk out thinking that, oh, dang, I'm informed on this. I got a better understanding of it. So I have to give you your flowers on that. So I mean,
that's all well and true, but you have caught up with me, okay? Because every time you tell me something that I don't know, so you have definitely caught up and whatever. And I couldn't be prouder, obviously. I could not be prouder. Wonderful that you have gotten this together and doing this podcast and getting your name and your voice out there. We always want our children to do as good or better than we are and whatever. So I see nothing but fortune from this and whatever, and hopefully it blows up and whatever, and I could be still be a reoccurring guest.
Okay, most definitely, yeah. You already know yeah. All right, so unfortunately,
it reminds, not to cut you off, it reminds me of Dan Le Batard.
His Pops is on it. Yeah,
Pops on there all the time.
Pops was hilarious. He, in my opinion, I think he was the show.
Yeah.
I mean, no disrespect to Dan and Bomani, but yeah, he was the show.
He was funny and whatever. So hopefully I can give that to you a little bit or whatever.
Okay.
I'm like I said, but ultra happy to be here.
Yeah, most definitely, man. So unfortunately, this is breaking news. We got some bad news at OTA. So today, Noah Brown was carted off the field. And he was caught slamming his helmet down. And usually when they bring out that cart, that's never a good sign. So no reports is out as far as the MRI or anything like that. We should be getting that within a day or two. But usually that's a sign that his season's probably over. They didn't say exactly if it was a knee or ankle or anything, but usually when you slam that helmet down and they carting you off, it's bad news. Also, there was news that Michael Gallup has sustained a hamstring injury. Now, not as serious, and thank God if he is gonna make the team, it happens in mini camp instead of training camp. So, Pops, thoughts on this one? Because this is a major hit to the wide receiver room.
Yeah, I was going to say both wide receivers. Noah Brown scares me, but I'm not claiming his season over yet.
Mm-hmm.
It all depends on whether it's a non-contact injury. You know, when they're non-contact, those tend to be the most severe. Those are the ones that involve ligaments and
Mm-hmm.
tendons and things along those lines. So hopefully he'll be because we definitely need him. You know, now you got Terry on a holdout. You got Noah Brown hurt. You got Gallup, although I'm not a big Gallup fan because he used to wear that star on the side of his helmet or whatever. But but hopefully he can come back and his seems a lot less of an issue. Oh, yeah, his seems like a lot less of an issue. And
Mm-hmm.
so let's just hope also, let's hope they get back and let's hope they go ahead and sign Terry. Give him his money. Okay.
And even as far as just to veer off on that part, ladies and gentlemen, he's coming back
Yeah,
to
yeah, he's
break.
coming.
He's we have adults in the room. He's getting signed. It's fine, and we'll deep dive into that later on into the show. But he's gonna get signed at the latest. I'd say right before training camp. We have until late July or early August. It'll get done. Like I said, we'll get back into that later on. But I mean, also with these guys going down, it opens up the room for other guys like KJ Osborne, Ja'Cory Brooks, the wide receiver that was unrestricted free agent. I'm sorry, not undrafted free agent. Um, and I mean, and somebody like him, as far as Brooks is concerned, a lot of people thought that he should have been drafted in like the third or fourth round because he was getting he came from Alabama. And then when Saban left, he went over to Louisville and had a remarkable senior year, over 1,000 yards, about 80 catches. And people just was like, okay, so why is he not drafted? But hey, it shit happens in the draft. But I think he can possibly make the team with this opening if this is a serious injury. Because I say they're probably going to pick up at least they're going to have about 6 receivers on the team. So, I mean, that's something to look forward to. And then it gives young guys opportunity. But moving on to the next part.
What about
Yes,
yeah, what about the kid from Virginia Tech? Isn't he a wide receiver?
he's already going to be on.
Yeah,
I think, yeah.
he'll
Jake
get more
Lane.
practice time.
Yeah.
He can use some time to hook up with Jaden Daniels and whatever. So that'll be great as well. I think you'll have that something that maybe they can work him in a little bit more, give him more reps and whatever. So
no, because I agree. I think this could really open up for him as well. Moving to the next one, somebody who's turning heads in the OTAs. Second round cornerback Trey Amos, the cornerback out of Ole Miss. He's saying he's been getting active over the last 2 weeks. Now, granted, this is mini camp. We're not gonna go way overboard and crown him as the next Dion or Revis Island or anything like that. But it's good to see because usually whenever you have a cornerback coming in, cornerback and quarterback are usually the hardest positions to do great in the NFL coming out of college. And to see that he's sustaining himself as being a legit number one, because obviously Lattimore didn't show up over the last few days. He actually came in and was shutting people down. He had a few great plays against Deebo Samuels. I want to see what it's like against Terry because we'll see how legit. I'm not taking anything away from Deebo, but having somebody like a Terry go up and down a field with him and giving him some work, that's shows like, hey, he's legit. But what's your thoughts?
oh, I like what you said about him going against Terry because you're right. Debo's not the Debo he used to be. Okay. And Terry is to me the unconditional best receiver when it comes to catching contested balls. Okay. And that's where a cornerback earns his money. Because if you're going up there and they're 50-50 balls, you know, 50 is on the offense, but 50 is on the defense as well. So I do like the fact that I'd rather him show out now, and maybe not. If you want to see somebody perform, you want to see them perform early, so he can earn himself some extra reps when the big boys come out, when they
Yeah.
really start doing it. They picked up Sandersfield last year, and what was he, second round, if I'm not mistaken?
Yep, second rounder.
Okay, so and by the way, he's a Michigan man, so you know he get number love over here.
Oh,
Okay,
blue.
yes, blue, baby, that's right. So I like the fact that it sounds like because the one thing I don't have any faith in is Lattimore. Okay, because he had now if they can get all three of these guys to play, oh my God, because if they've only made one mistake that I can think of this new regime is the Lattimore thing because they
Hmm.
gave up a lot for him and he hasn't paid off the dividends that we'd hope we'd see.
Yeah.
Now, he's been hurt a lot, and also him missing the mini camp and things like that. When you haven't really played that much, you need to be there. It's one thing if you're Terry McLaurin and you
Yeah.
miss mini camp. That ain't no big deal because that kid always come to play.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then on top of that, you're waiting for your check to come in. So I mean,
Exactly. Yeah, he waiting for his bag, and so he
yeah.
has every right to be there. But if you're Lattimore, you didn't show us anything last year. You need to
Mm.
be in camp. You need to be there. You need to learn the system, and you need to make sure one of these young boys don't beat you out of your job. Okay,
Mm.
for real. Because
Well, just to piggyback on what you're saying, I think that he should have just been there because of, and you have to look at how great we've been in the medical staff, because the medical staff last year, you look at somebody like Zach Ertz. Originally, when we signed him, we're like, why the hell are they picking him up? He can't even stay on the field. Last year, he was on the field 17 games, and to my calculation, carried it
yeah,
to
that's 100%.
that's the 100%. So,
I'm a teacher, so I know these.
so,
You know. Oh
so
no!
yeah,
By the way, that medical staff is earning their money now because if you remember back in the day under that guy whose initials are DS, his game,
DS,
yeah.
yeah.
But that's why Samuels left, if you remember,
Mhm.
because the medical team was not doing a good job of seeing things and picking up on things.
Not just him, Trent.
I'm sorry.
Not just him, Trent Williams.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm sorry. That's what I meant to say. It was Trent Williams.
Mhm.
They weren't picking up on those things. Okay, and that's why Trent Williams left. Okay, because part of it, that's what started the train or the ball rolling. So it's
Mhm.
good that they actually have once again grown-ups in the medical room. Okay,
Yep.
who know what they're talking about. So get your behind in here, Lattimore. If you ever watch off the bench, get your butt back in camp. Okay, let's
Mhm.
go. Let's go do this. You need to be here.
Well, I mean, if he is watching, I
Mhm.
think he listened because he was actually at minicamp.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm talking about he should be at OTAs. He should be at every one.
uh,
One thing, look, if you are all pro, and you just coming off an all pro season and you decide, hey, I'm gonna skip the OTAs but I'll come to minicamp, not a problem. Not a problem because you've earned your money. Okay.
yeah.
You've earned the right to say, hey, I'm gonna take this time off and let my body heal up a little bit more.
Mm.
But how many games did he play with us last? Like three?
Uh,
With us.
yeah, we're counting the last. I say three because he didn't play that Dallas game. He
Mhm.
played the New Orleans. He played the Eagles game, and then he played the game after that, which was the Falcons game.
Okay, and then he played.
They purposely benched him so he would be healthy for the playoffs against the Cowboys. So yeah, he only played 3 games last year.
Well, stop me if I'm wrong. Did he look that impressive to you? I
I
didn't see.
would have said New Orleans, but New Orleans knew they weren't going to throw it to him. So I
Yeah.
mean,
And see that I think he's been living off of it. He's been living off of that, knowing that they won't throw it to him. They're gonna throw it at him now because
yeah,
Sam still is showing his chops. Okay, and if this kid Amos is what you say he is, Lattimore might find himself as a nickelback somewhere.
yeah. But here's the thing. Contrary to what I think right this second, I mean, and it's still like I said, we're not going to go ahead and
We're not claiming
yet,
it.
and it's in mini camp, but mini camp he showed out yesterday. They had him like because what's the name, the defensive coordinator, dang it, I'm forgetting his name right now, but
Dallas, what's the name? Yeah, I got him. I got brain lock too. Oh God.
ladies and gentlemen, I got this part from him too. So,
I would deny it, but I don't remember what we were talking about. Okay.
but no,
No,
defense.
I know what we talk about. Dan Quill's what's the name, defensive coordinator, whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Uh, but he said that he was going in his press conference. He was definitely going to go ahead and check and see if he's healthy and everything, and push him to the limit. And he actually did. He came in. He was going toe to toe with Amos as far as on just going on routes, just see how he is as far as his health and everything. He came in healthy, and the same thing goes for Laramie Tunsil. And I know we just came over there and said, as far as when it comes down to if you just came off an All Pro Bowl season, yeah, Laramie Tunsil is a top 3 tackle in this league. He's going to be going after Protector of the Year this year. He is one of those guys that you need, that he's solidified. Now, for his situation, kind of like Terry, he's waiting on that check. But also he's one of those guys, and it's been like this since he was with Miami before he got to Houston. He doesn't go to the what's the name? The voluntary mini camps. Yeah. But my thing is this, and I've maintained this the whole entire time, and I think you probably agree with me on this one. If you are maintaining your skills and making sure that you come into camp healthy, I'm not tripping off of it. I would like you to be there, but I'm not going to lose sleep over it.
It is what you like, is that left side of that line is on lock. And it not only makes that better, he makes the left guard better. Okay, because he can handle this guy. And so if there's a nose tackle or a defensive tackle that's causing some problems, you can double team him, because Tunsil has JD's back. Okay, he's going to be there. Okay, so when they picked him up, and let me just say this: there's a few positions on the football team that you can't pay too much for. Quarterback, left tackle, defensive back. And if you got a nose tackle or a defensive tackle that can disrupt the pocket, like the kid from the Eagles,
Jalen Carter.
Yeah, Jalen Carter, if you got a Jalen Carter, you can't pay him. Or Chris Jones, you can't pay him too much money. Okay, because those guys take care of not just their position, but the positions on both sides of them.
Of course, the multiplier.
Yeah, exactly. That's what JD is. And you telling me now that JD's gonna get more time because Tunsil's here? Like, he wasn't eating people up alive already. Now you're gonna give him protection and time. Oh, and with his accuracy as he is. I know I'm gonna go off subject for a second, Herbie. I know I shouldn't call you Herbie, but you're my Herbie. Okay.
Really, nigga?
So I'm gonna go off topic for a second. The JD, what he can do is just so. Even without protection last year, without protection, he had protection, but not great protection.
Yeah.
And now you got a right tackle now, fresh number 1 draft pick, the kid out of Oregon, and now you got Larry Tunsil. Okay, and it makes the interior line that much better because they can concentrate on the interior. So you can double team Jalen Carter now. Okay, you can hit him with a double team because by the way, if you don't hit him with a double team, he's going to hit you. So
yeah. I mean, you see what happened with our what's the name, our center last year when he slapped the shit out of him.
Oh yeah.
By the way, return the favor, because it was Joe Witt Jr., the defensive coordinator. But no, I agree. And with Tunsil coming in, you have Connerly, and just moving on to the next part of this conversation, Dan Quinn has officially stated that Coleman will be starting at left guard. So that's even more of a reason to solidify. And I mean, you look at him when he was at TCU, he actually played guard a lot, and they had him playing at left tackle as well. So for him to come in and actually he was actually pretty good yet last year. And I mean, and he's quicker in the interior. So I mean, you get him on a pull and running down the field, that's going to be nice. I think it solidifies the interior a little bit more because you had Nick Allegretti there, but now that you have Coleman there, I mean, it solidifies the line a little more. Biotis at the center, he's gonna do his damn thing. Now the whole entire thing, as far as with the right guard, yes, Cosme is out. He's probably not gonna get back in. I say until at least about 8th game of the season, 8, 9. By the way, like I said on the last show, Dan Quinn has said that he's on track to come back. He's not coming back week 1, ladies and gentlemen. He tore his ACL in mid-January. So, and it takes at least about 8 to 9 months to go ahead and recover. We ain't talking about starting on a football field. We're talking about recover. So with that coming in, I mean, you could put Wiley in at guard. Let's keep it a buck. we did not bring a right tackle on this team in the first round with Connolly to not start him. Yeah, he's doing the what's his name? Coach Quinn is putting him through the hey, we preach competition. That's great. He's gonna start. So,
oh yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
and that's not a spoil. That's not a prediction.
Not a spoiler. No, you're not going out on a limb on that one. Okay. So, and like I said, well, the way I've always talked to you about football. The one thing I've always said is the best teams are built from the inside, from the lines going back. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Defensive line, offensive line. You start your football teams on the front. If you can dominate the front on either side of the football, you'll win a football game. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You dominate it on offensive line, you can run better, you can pass better, play action pass becomes something you can't even mess with.
Exactly.
And you got a Jaden Daniels back there who can do all of it. If you get that full time, oh my God. Okay, come on now. At that point, he can pick his targets. This is what this kid showed me last year, and I didn't even know it. Now, and understand, I wanted them to draft him off of day one. I did not want the kid for the Bears. I didn't want him.
Caleb Williams. Yeah,
I didn't want Caleb Williams. I wanted Jaden Daniels from the jump. Okay, I always did because first of all, he excelled in the best college program conference in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, Rudy, I hope you're not watching this because I know he's an SEC. I'm a Big Ten guy, but understand something. That's the deepest conference in the country. He wasn't playing, he wasn't playing lollipops every week.
He's Alabama. Cream of the crop every week.
He's been playing in the NFL for a couple of years now. It's just these guys get paid more. That's all it is. But I don't know. The guys at Alabama get paid pretty good. Hold on.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
you can't go. I mean, other than,
but he's seeing Georgia, he's seeing Alabama, he's seeing Tennessee, he's seeing Florida. He's been playing pro ball for a couple of years now. Okay, and with the way he's being coached by the offensive coordinator, trust me, got time is a crazy thing. I still, for some reason, and I'm gonna hedge my bet a little bit. I think they're going to be better, but I know they're going to be better. I don't know if the record's going to be better.
And I mean, I could agree with you on that because my thing is this: you got stiffer competition this year.
You're playing the two best divisions in football.
Yeah, three. If you want to be,
you got to play the NFC East. Yeah,
NFC East. I mean, you're going up against that. You're going to get.
Oh, fumble. Okay.
Editing.
That out, okay.
But yeah, that's gonna make the show.
That should make the blooper reel at the end. Okay? That's what you can do. You can put a blooper reel at the end or whatever. That'd be great or whatever. But no, getting back to the point, you're playing the AFC West with Kansas City. I was going to say San Diego, LA, okay, the Raiders and Denver, and three of those teams, were playoff worthy. All three of them went to the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
3 teams in the NFC North went to the playoffs. Okay. And the worst record amongst them was 13-4. Okay. Which was
wasn't it? Because we had a better 11-5. Because we had a better record than Green Bay.
Okay. Well, okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, even still, that's still a double-digit win team.
Yeah, exactly. So you're playing 6 teams that made the playoffs, aside from the Super Bowl champions. Okay. So I mean, that's a brutal schedule.
And say what you want about Dallas, they were competitive.
They can still be a problem.
Yeah.
But you know what? The only thing that makes me say I think we'll be okay is because they got to play the same schedule too.
Yeah.
Okay. The NFC West has to come see the NFC East. The NFC North has to come see the NFC East. And we're not a cakewalk either. Okay. So yeah, but I love the fact that they're doing what they're doing with the offensive line. I'd love to see it do with the defensive line a little bit more, but one line at a time. You had to trade away some draft picks to get.
Yeah.
And I still, and Adam, I trust. Okay, I haven't felt this good about a GM since Bobby Beathard. Okay,
that's facts. And just going and just reiterating what we said as far as starting from the interior on out. Defensive coordinator Joe Wood Jr. has been saying that Daron Payne has been coming in with a better mindset. He's leading he's being a great leader. He's showing off by example. My issue with I wouldn't have an issue with this if I knew he was in a contract year. I mean, I'm just
Hey,
and
but
no
that
shade,
shit is not
no
gonna win.
shade. Get that money, but
Mhm.
also, dude, we've seen this same type of energy when you won when it was contract year. You went ahead and got 11 sacks. The very next season, non-existent. I mean,
Well,
and
also, he may have saw his boy get cut or
yeah,
let.
that
Okay,
too.
so that could have something to do with it. Like,
Mm,
and I think you get a bigger bag from your home team than somebody else or whatever.
yeah.
But if he playing for the money, I don't have no problem with that. But I think I would structure his contract to a situation where it would be a lot of incentives in there because
Hmm.
he needs to play for the bag. You know,
Yeah.
and don't get me wrong, I like Deron Payne. I wish him the best. I hope he comes through for us. That's for sure. You know, but if you think about it, three of those four first round picks that was on that, you know, Hall of Fame defensive line before they actually won a playoff game or whatever. You know,
Yeah.
that doesn't speak well for the regime that was behind us, which
No, not at all.
we
Not
would
at
not
all.
mention my name. We would not say
Yeah.
Ron. What's his name? Blah, blah, blah.
Ron Swanson, Ron Burgundy,
Yeah,
Ron
exactly.
as a
Ron McDonald, because it was kind of a clown show there for a while. So yeah, no, I mean, I hope it does serve as a motivation to him.
Mm.
But I still think they need to address the defensive line next year.
Oh, most definitely. I do think that Wise is going to be pretty good this year. The guy that we picked up in the in free agency, I think he's going to be pretty good
Kinlaw
this
is
year.
what they're talking about now as well. The kid from San Francisco.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like he's gonna be coming in, being productive. They're speaking very highly of him.
Mhm.
He actually had a pretty for his he had a career high last year when he was with the Jets. And it was just the fact that, like, I mean, hey, I think that he'll show out this year. I think that now, as far as like sack production is concerned, that's where a lot of people are clamoring about, like, well, we didn't pick up a defensive end or edge guy or whatever. But guys, I don't know if y'all remember, Fowler wasn't predicted to get 10 sacks last year. They found it elsewhere. Even looking as far as Frankie Louvu, he had
Love him.
he had 8.5 sacks last year. And I mean, and those are usually like right up the middle or a little bit off the edge or on scramble drills. He ended up getting a sack because he hustles a lot. And just going to the next subject, Frankie Louvu has been seen in after practice working with Commanders franchise, excuse me, Commanders franchise sack leader Ryan Kerrigan. And what better to learn than from somebody who is a pass specialist, and I mean, and at times a game changer when you actually look at how he used to play. And for those who don't know, and if you don't, then I mean, are you a real Commander fan? Ryan Kerrigan, Mr. Showstopper himself, was killing it. He's had years where he's gone from 11 to 13 sacks a year, and I mean, he's been very productive. And why not go ahead and learn from a pass rusher like him? He could show you the different pass moves a little bit better because that's what Dan Quinn brought him on here for. And not to mention Joe Witt Jr. can scheme up some game plans. So, because I mean, let's keep it a buck. When Fowler came in here, we was looking, oh, he's going to be a depth guy. No, they found another guy to go ahead and get those sacks for him. And if you have Louvu working on pass rushing skills, I mean, what? Why not? Why the hell not? So
The only problem I have with the linebacker crew is they're a little long in the tooth. You know, Dante Fowler's not a young kid. Okay,
mm,
I mean, don't get me wrong. He had a hell of a year last year, and I think it was more scheme than ability. But I still take it. 10 sacks is 10 sacks. Okay,
mm-hmm.
double-digit sacks. You don't always have to get to the quarterback. You just need to disrupt him. Okay?
Yeah,
And so I'm not. I got no complaints about Wagner. I
mm-hmm.
love Louvu. I actually love that guy. He is
Big Goose.
him and Wagner. I mean, those guys. If you had 10 Bobby Wagners, who knows
Super
what
Bowl. Oh, what they say in the fantasy
championship. Yeah,
championship.
yeah. If you had 10 Bobby Wagners, I mean and I don't know how much time he has left as well. I mean, he's probably close
I'd
to the
say about a
end.
year.
year
maybe.
two. Yeah,
Yeah,
but and obviously he walks into Canton as soon as he walks out. You
yeah.
know, he leaves, because he's got a resume. And I
Mm,
like the fact that he holds people accountable on that defense.
exactly.
Need that guy in the huddle that's saying, "Hey, you got beat on that one. Man up, dude."
Yeah.
Like that.
Mm. By the
Don't
way, shout out to him. He just got his BA at Howard.
get out of here.
And,
Okay.
I'm hearing that he has aspiration to become a commissioner. So of the league. So yeah.
Well, you know what? When they turn this league over to a brother, we all gonna dance in the street. Oh, that's better than being president, man. Okay. Hey, look, any black man can be president. We done shown that, but ain't nobody, ain't 30 guys, ain't 32 white dudes that's gonna give a brother all that power. Okay.
Yeah.
Unless he earned it. Okay. It's one thing to be in the United States. It's nothing to NFL. Okay. Come on now. I mean, government versus the NFL. The NFL is I keep telling people, it's not a game.
It's an institution.
It's an industry.
Mm-hmm.
They don't just sell football. They sell Viagra. They sell cars. They sell
beer.
They sell vacation homes. They sell everything. Okay. People clamor to advertise at a preseason NFL game. Okay. Because they know we watching it. Okay.
Yeah.
They went from owning Sunday to owning Sunday and Monday to now owning Monday, Thursday.
Thanksgiving, Christmas.
Yeah,
the worst thing that LeBron could have came over there and said was, "Hey, this is our day." No, it's not. It's officially not anymore.
Now we're just going to take it. Okay, we was doing this for a wing, just on a whim, but now we're going to take it because you opened your mouth. Okay,
and his thing, because I mean, this is realistically what I saw as far as when he said that. Here comes what's the name? The commissioner. Hold my beer.
So, yeah, exactly. Oh yeah. No doubt. The NFL runs everything. The NFL runs the economy. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm probably being a little overzealous there. I wouldn't say they run the economy, but they are a major influence on the economy, and particularly in the 30 states that they're in, or the 30 places that they're in. They're major players. You want to be next to the NFL if you got a business. If you got a restaurant, you want to be next to the stadium. The only problem with football is that it's only 8 to 10 times a year. As opposed to say baseball. You go down at basketball. They got 40 and 80 dates a year. Still, people ain't running away from football. Okay, not running away from football.
They're trying to expand it to longer.
So going overseas and playing now. They're doing
exactly. And that's a whole different conversation. We can go in. Matter of fact, we'll bookmark this and because it's definitely going to be downtime during the off season. But one person who did, like we alluded to earlier, this in the show. One person who didn't show up to minicamp, obviously, Terry McLaurin. He's holding out on the check. I mean, my thing is this. I've been saying this since day one. He needs to get paid in the $30 to $33 million range. He's very good. He's not Jamar Chase. He's not Jets. He's good. He deserves the bag. He doesn't deserve the number one bag. And like we said before, Adam Peters is an adult. He's going to get this done. No worries, everybody. This is what happens all the time. People go ahead. They want to get paid. They have to send a message. This is the type of thing. Everybody coming out there say, well, Terry's not is upset about. Terry, fine. Terry's out there fishing right now. Terry's going to the gym. He's making sure that everything's done.
He just got married too, didn't
he? Yeah, he got married in February. So he's probably trying to make kids right now. So, I mean, for all we know.
It's a family show, okay?
So, I mean, we are not worried about Terry right this second. Terry has been the class of the team. He is he's very respectful. He's not just a great guy on the field. He's a great guy in the community. He's a pillar of this team. He's a statesman. Whatever adjective you want to give him, that is Terry. Terry's going to be fine. He's not going nowhere.
One problem with Terry McLaurin. One single problem. He went to that school that's just south of Michigan. So he's a Buckeye. And though he's the only Buckeye I ever liked in my life. Okay. So I give him a problem. Because if you that shows you how good he is. if you can win me over and you went to Ohio State, you are that dude. You are that dude. Okay.
Mm,
Because don't get me wrong, I love the guy. And he's everything you said he is. He's stand up in the community. He's stand
mm,
up in the team. He's a great receiver. He
mm,
is not Justin Jefferson, and he is not Jamar Chase. Now,
mm.
is he T. Higgins? Yeah.
I think
He's
he's better. I mean,
he's better.
honest with
And by the way, that's who I wanted Washington to sign.
you.
I
Mm.
wanted to sign T. Higgins, okay? Because you put Terry on one side and T. Higgins on the other, championship, okay?
Yep.
Or these scoring title or something like that. Because something along those lines. So they did. Cincinnati did what they had to do. They had to pay T. Higgins. But hopefully they pissed off. First of all, they just pissed off their number one draft pick. Okay.
Mhm.
They pissed off Hendrickson. Okay. So I hope Hendrickson gets them payback and decides, well, I'll just get my bag somewhere else. Like, ooh, let me see.
But
Who's the defensive edge rusher? Wow.
here's here's the only thing though.
I'm thinking, who could use a defensive edge rusher right now? Who's short on that regard? I'm just saying. And who got cap room? Yeah, yeah. He looked good
Ah
with my
man,
glove on his helmet. That's for sure. Okay, he looked good with that. Now, $35 million a year.
if you giving me 12 to 13 sacks with this team, because I'm pretty sure that the defense, the corner back room is going
This
to be
was
better.
horrible. He got 17 sacks with garbage playing next to him. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah.
And I mean, and we can go on and on about how shit of a organizations and cheap that the Bengals is, but we'll save that for another time. One thing that we will talk about right this second is we have joint practices for the preseason going up against the New England Patriots when we play them this year and in the preseason, and we're going up against the Baltimore Ravens. Yeah, so yeah, yeah, we don't rock with the Ravens over here.
He ain't Baltimore.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we don't deal with the wretched
Right.
in Baltimore. So
Only thing good there is the harbor. That's it. Okay.
but no, yeah, I think this is always fun to see. The only thing about the Baltimore practice, we have a Monday night game, and then we have to play them. We have the practices with them on, I think, was it Tuesday and Wednesday? Oh no, I'm sorry, Wednesday and Thursday, and then we got to play them on Saturday. So my thing is just like I said, I just want everybody to walk out healthy at the end of the day. Um, it's always good to just look at from the standpoint as far as just hey, we're going to practices. I already talked to my brother-in-law. We already said that we're going to try to make some of the training camp. So this way we could try to mingle around with some of the former players and try to get some interviews off the bench. So I mean, hey, be on the lookout, guys. So, but
Oh, you got go get it, young. Go get it. That's for sure.
So we already touched on a few other things. So the last part before we get into this our gaming part or who would you choose part. There was footage out there of Mikey Sanders still and Deebo Samuels going back and forth working on their technique. I thought it was kind of like an iron sharpens iron situation dealing with because we have the up and comer of Mikey Sanders still. We have the guy who's actually been to a Super Bowl with Deebo. He knows he knows some things, and he can actually work on. Hey, how do I deal with getting out of a jam situation with a corner? Also, Mikey is like, hey, I've been going up against some pretty solid competition last year. I want to see how I could get myself better, and it was good to see both of them out there working together. Thoughts?
Well, you know me, first of all, Sanders still go blue. Okay. He's got national championship pedigree about him. Okay. He got a ring already. Now so I'm always gonna be on Sanders Stills, I'm gonna be on his side. But first of all, he's a talented kid. Okay. He lived up to a second round pick. He played like a second round pick, and he's a starter in this league. There's no doubt about it. And whatever. So, and him going against Deebo, sure. I mean, Deebo's not the Deebo he used to be, but maybe, this will be a wake up for him as well. But Deebo, I'm just hoping he can stay on the field.
Yeah.
That's all I'm hoping for. If we can get 13 games out of him, or 14 games, I
Mm-hmm.
think it's a great return on an investment. I really do. But
Yeah.
Samuel is a building block for this defense. Okay, make no mistake. He is a building block for this defense, and I'm not just saying that because he went to Michigan, although that does help. Okay, no, this kid can play. He showed it in the playoffs last year. Okay,
Mhm.
he
Two
showed it
picks.
throughout the season and whatever. So this kid can play. Okay, and so yeah, I want to see that. I love to see that. I love to see a young man who's in his second year who had a very very good, better than we thought first year. Okay,
Yeah.
and he's not satisfied with that. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
he's like, I want to be better. I want to go to the next level. You know,
Yeah.
is he going to turn into Dion or Mel Blunt? I don't think so. Okay,
Mhm.
you know, but he can
Hey,
turn.
if you turn into an Asante Samuel, I'm not complaining.
He
Like,
can be a regular Pro Bowl wide receiver, even if he's a borderline Pro Bowler. Like he makes it one year, he doesn't make it the next. But if he's up there in the upper 5, 6, 7 defensive backs in the
mhm.
league, I'll take that and run. You know,
And I mean, just looking at it from the standpoint, I mean, he's already regarded as one of the top nickel corners in the league. So I mean, and he could play outside, he could play inside. I mean, I'm not saying that he's the next Darrell Green or anything like that, but I mean, the fact that he's actually working with Darrell Green at time to time. I mean, what better than to learn from the goats? Go ahead and figure out how to play the game, how to master this game, and just not be stagnant. That's what you want out of a team, your team that's going in to the second year after going to the NFC Championship. How can I be better? How can I sustain this greatness that I'm bestowing on? So I mean, it's I love it because it's iron sharpens iron.
yeah, oh no doubt. And like I said, I think it's great that it's that a second year player is still hungry to get better. He could have
Mm-hmm.
rested on his laurels. He could have been like, "Oh, hey, look, I had a good showing last year. You know, they like me." This that. No, he wants to be better. Now,
Mm-hmm.
that's that Michigan pedigree in him. Okay, because it's not enough just to win. You got to win the championship. You got to get a ring. Okay, but at the same time, like I said, I joke about that too, only a little bit. I'm not all joking about that. I think and I'm gonna veer off the subject for a little bit, the kid McCarthy over in Minnesota,
JJ.
AJ McCarthy. He's looking good now, from what I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Like what they see in him. Okay, so enough of my Michigan, thing. We got to get here together one day and just talk Michigan football or
No,
whatever.
I'm all for it. I mean, because I mean, I'm interested to see that kid as at quarterback next year.
Yeah,
I'm actually,
they stole
and,
from
and,
LSU.
and everybody knows I'm a ride or die Maryland fan. If it wasn't for the University of Maryland, this guy would have never met my mom. So
Okay.
I mean, I'm riding or die with him, but I'm also like, hey, I was raised to be a Michigan fan when what's the name when Maryland was ass. So I
Okay.
mean,
Exactly.
it
Exactly.
is what it is. I mean, I don't rock with the fuck eyes. I don't. Hey, you
Yeah,
want to argue with me? Argue with your mother. I ain't doing it.
exactly. Oh no, no, don't get me wrong, because just to give some history on this, when I was a youngster and there was only 7 or 8 channels, period. Okay. This is pre-cable. And so on Saturdays, you never got Maryland on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You got Michigan or you got Notre Dame. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you know how I feel about Notre Dame. They're the Cowboys of college football. Okay. They don't ever win anything, but they got a whole bunch of people who
Pomp and circumstance for.
this, that, and other,
Mhm.
And it was hard last year because they played Ohio State in the semifinals. And I was like,
I was with Mikey when Rich Eisen asked him like, so what do you look? Who are you rooting for this game? I'm rooting for a tie.
yeah. I want to say a scoreless tie. That's what I want. I wanted to be the worst played football in the history of football.
Yeah.
I'll go back to the leather helmets, how bad that I wanted that
Yeah.
to
Oh God. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and like I said, but and you get, it was hard for me because I was rooting for the brother that coaches for Notre Dame. I really want him to do well. I want
Mm.
him to do good enough to go to another school and help them. I want him to go to the Big Ten or the SEC. That's my biggest problem with Notre Dame. You had a chance to get in the Big Ten, but you scared. And yeah, I said it like I said it. And if
Mm.
anybody watching this is from Notre Dame or root for Notre Dame, y'all scared to come to the Big Ten because you don't want that smoke. Okay, you want to pick and
I,
choose
I'll, I'll even go as far as just to piggyback on it. It's also a money thing because I mean they already with them being independent, they get 10 million. I think what 20 million off the break. They don't have to even share. Then on top of that, I'm sorry, is it 10 or 20 million?
Probably 20.
But then on top of that, you don't have to go and then if you go to the what's the name to the playoff, you get another $10 million. So you talking about $30 million to play with?
Then you got your own network. Okay, understand?
Exactly. I mean,
Broadcast specific in Notre Dame games. And like I said, you're right. They have so many. You get to handpick your schedule. Okay, you ain't never got to worry about going up against these beasts every year. Okay, you can pick and choose your schedule. Okay, so that right there is butt to me. Okay, but on top of that, the Big Ten offered them up years ago. Hey, you want to play with the big boys? Come on down. Okay, we got a spot for you. Okay.
If you scared, say you scared.
Exactly. I mean, nothing wrong. You're right. If you scared, say you scared. You know, I get the bag, but it's my fault. Don't the Big Ten got money? Okay. Did I miss that? Didn't they send 3 or 4 teams to the playoffs last year, despite the fact that Notre Dame wasn't one of them? Okay. I think you saw Oregon. I think you saw Ohio State.
Penn State, Ohio State.
Okay. You know, there was at least 3, and understand that Michigan hadn't tailed off, with whatever. They could have been 4, but but
okay, Ohio State. That's all that matters. I mean, we show that what's the name that we had an undefeated championship run. So I mean,
no doubt about it. Don't get wrong.
First 14-0 team ever.
We got the rank. We got the rank. And then we planted a flag on their field. And they still ain't getting over that one. Still, if you on Facebook,
I'm gonna say this, and usually I don't talk like this on the show. That was pussy.
Okay.
That was pussy. You go ahead and try to make it a law to where you can't plant a football flag.
Oh my God! Yeah, how about
that? Was okay? You know what? That was bitch made. I'm sorry.
There ain't no other way to put it. It's your show, so I'm gonna let you say it. But you went out like this.
So, but moving on to things. This all right. So
if I thought
outline
back to the Commanders. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
It was our random Michigan tirade. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Y'all like football. We're gonna sit here and talk about it. So I mean, hey, we get big enough, ladies and gentlemen. We'll talk about more than just the Commanders. So help us grow so you can do more, so we can do more. But one thing that I did want, because it is the slow part of the season, of the off season. And we got to think about topics to talk about. So, I mean, we're looking at dream scenarios. So, I want to send a shout out to this YouTube channel called Retro Skins. They go ahead and play like throwback games of the Redskins back in the day. I think they only are doing it with Redskin games. Because I think the latest that I've seen, it was like the latest game I've seen was like 2018. They even got the game that you like that game that we went to.
Yeah.
But one of the games that I've been looking at, one of the players that they was looking at I was looking at, they had Stephen Davis, who was one of my favorites growing up through that 2000 years, 2000, 2001, 99. He was killing it and one of the best. And then it got me thinking, well, if we're we already have the situation with the running back room. We already know B-Rob is trying to make sure that he gets the bag this year by performing well. We got Ja'Cory Croskey-Merritt, who's a rookie, 7th rounder. He has potential. We don't know what it's going to be yet, but hey, there's still something to look forward to. You have Austin Ekeler, who isn't bad. I mean, but he's that slasher or that cutback guy, but he's also getting up there in age. So what better than to go ahead and have a fantasy version of this where we got a situation going on where we need what's the name? A running back. So I have to ask you this. If we're gonna go back in time and we're gonna hop in the DeLorean, shout out to Back to the Future, and go ahead and get somebody. You have these three choices right here. You're gonna go with Clinton Portis, John Riggins, or Stephen Davis to go with this offense.
Is this really a real question? Okay,
I'm saying, and here's the reason why I bring this up. We're in a more fast-paced game with this offense. So it's not just I understand each one of them are power runners. Clinton Portis is a mixture. He has the power and the speed. You have John Riggo. I mean, Riggo is the man. So I mean, it's probably one of my favorite white boys. I ain't gonna lie.
Hey, it's like a beer, man. You just love that guy.
Yeah,
Okay.
and,
He's a man's man.
yeah.
Okay.
And then you got Big Country Stephen Davis, who is actually really faster than what people gave him credit for. But I'm also looking at it from the standpoint of this: you have a fast-paced offense going on right now, and you look at how the situation is in Baltimore with Lamar Jackson and King Henry. So if you're gonna go ahead and have somebody dealing with this, the way that the team is structured, as far as a fast-paced motion offense, not motion, I'm sorry, fast-paced offense who's really quick, but also can dominate you, cut you. You can even go as far as looking at it from like death of a thousand cuts, because they will hit you with short passes, long passes. They'll go ahead and run it down your throat. They'll go ahead and then you have the threat of JD5 going ahead and just running out, streaking down the sidelines. So I wanted to ask you, Pop, you have a choice between Clinton Portis, Stephen Davis, or John Riggins. Who are you going with to take us to the Super Bowl?
This is not even a question. Okay. You're testing me, right? You're testing me. Okay. Okay. It is not even close on this one. Okay. And don't get me wrong, all love for Clinton Portis. He was there during the dog years and this, that, and other. All love for Stephen Davis. I was bartending at FedEx Field when he was playing and whatever. But Riggo, first of all, was a state champion in the 100-meter dash when he was in high school. Okay.
Kansas City Comet.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Kansas Comet.
Yeah. Understand something. That white boy wasn't just good. He was fast. Okay. He was fast. He ran away from people, but also he didn't duck nobody. Okay.
Mhm.
I mean, my favorite player as a Redskin fan ever for the rest of my days, unless they go win another Super Bowl, was him going off tackle on 4th and 1 against the Miami Dolphins.
Chip.
Mills hanging on the edge of him. And she throws him off and he sprints down the sideline and nobody catches him. Okay. And on top of that, he was a guy's guy. Okay. He told the Supreme Court justice to loosen up, Sandy, baby. Okay. So, I mean, Riggo was that guy that you loved, but you wanted to hang with that dude. Okay. You wanted to go out with him after the game. Okay. So, and he brought attitude to the game. Okay. He brought attitude, but it was a fun-loving attitude. So, but I'm old. Okay. So you can't ask me this question. Still here. Okay. Riggins is Riggins. He's Riggo. I mean, white, black, whatever. You just wanted to hang with this dude. You wanted to hang out with him.
No, I saw a picture of him when he was with what's his name? When he was with the Jets, and he looked like he would play like
afro, the curly afro.
Yeah, he looked like he was like a part of Hall and Oates and everything. Like he would have rocked with them or been part of Parliament or something like that. So, I mean,
but the glory days of this franchise, the best days of this franchise, clearly was that team, because that team was the one that first took us to a Super Bowl. Okay. And like I said, Riggins going off tackle, going down the left sideline, dragging that defensive back behind him, and then when he got in the end zone, he didn't spike it, he just flipped it to the ref. Okay. Like, oh, I can do this all the time. That man scored 22 touchdowns in a 14-game season. Okay. Look, he was not only good on first down and second, but he was great 4th and 1. Forget about it. Okay.
Game blouses.
Yeah. And by the way, and probably now a contributing factor to this was that he literally had the best line in offensive football in front of him.
Yeah.
And, there's no doubt about that. But as I've always told you, great offensive line makes ordinary backs good running backs great running back Hall of Famers. Okay. Riggins. The only problem with Riggins' numbers is he had to play with the Jets for 4 or 5 years before he came to Washington.
Yeah.
Because you realize that when Joe Gibbs first got here, he didn't run a one-back offense. Okay. He ran a two-back offense. Okay. And somewhere in the middle, after they lost their first 5 games, okay, because they started off 0-5.
0-5, and then they went 5-0, and then they went to finish off 8-8. Exactly. And then the following season,
That
By
was
the
super.
way, let's get to the point. Let's talk about the fact that I mean he did come over there and say like, "Hey Joe,
Give me the damn ball.
you need me."
Yeah, yeah. What did he say? He came back. I'm broke and I'm back. Okay. He said I'm
I
broke
need to
and
pay for some more beer.
yeah,
Let's get
well,
this 5 o'clock club started.
oh yeah, and I'm saying, so he literally told Joe, "Give me the ball, give me the
Mhm.
ball. I got this." Okay,
Mhm.
and he made the run, he made the passing game that much better because here's the thing: you had a great offensive line in front of you. You got a hammering fullback tailback combination that he just gives it to you,
Mhm.
and when you go play action pass, you had guys running past defensive.
Why Art Monk, a Hall of Famer, running wide open.
Yeah,
You had what's his
Gary
name?
Clark.
Gary Clark.
You had
Uh,
Charlie Brown. You had Virgil Say. And
yeah,
Virgil Say was just a contributor. But the point is, the fun bunch was invented during that time.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and so this is not a question, Herbie. This is not a question. Okay, this is just a testimony for John Riggins. I'm sorry. This is
Mm.
a testimony for John Riggins. Portis loved him. Loved him. Hell, his mama, got at somebody at the
Oh
Eagles.
no, we're gonna talk. No, we're definitely gonna talk about that right now. So story time.
We was
It's
okay.
2005. The Redskins are on the verge of going to Philly and trying to get a playoff berth because if they win this game, then we pretty much solidify the NFC East. Uh, the Eagles have nothing to play for. We are on a roll. We win this game. We're in the playoff. We host a playoff game, and no, I'm sorry. We go to play. We have to go to Tampa. And that, ironically, that was our last playoff victory before this year. Clinton Portis, his mom is in the decks, and we are probably about like 2 sections away from where she's sitting at. I have a live view of the whole entire thing, and this is and I remember this like it was tattooed on the back of my hand. This lady decided because hey guys, it's Philly. They want to go ahead and throw a beer on Clinton Portis' mom. And the way that this, ladies and gentlemen, my bad on this, but I call it how I see it. The way that this bitch came over there and threw a beer on his mom and she chin checked her, had the whole entire section going, ooh. And I'm sitting there like, Dad, look at this shit. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Ooh, ooh, damn. she got fucked. If we were in the section, we'd be looking at like,
you got knocked the fuck out.
Oh, look. See, this is the one thing your mama can't do for you, boy. This is what I had to do for you. Okay? You got good memories with her, but understand something, okay? I took you to legendary places, okay?
mm-hmm.
We went up in Philly, okay? So, and you ain't even supposed to go over there talking smack, okay? And then we their butt, okay? And then Clinton mama got at somebody too, okay? So, like I said, love him, man. Love him. And Clinton Portis he's a Washington guy. There's no doubt about it. I know he came from Denver. He had a hell of a year from Denver. One of the worst trades in history because we traded a Hall of Fame defensive back for him. Okay. But Clinton, it wasn't Clinton's fault. Okay. Clinton gave us what he came in. And he turned from a scat back to a power back, in the midst of all that. He made all the so he gets nothing but love. Now, was he champion? And by the way, I didn't mind because I was mad at Champ Bailey anyway. Champ Bailey didn't want to be in Washington. And I got a theory.
Well, I mean, there's other stories, and we'll talk about that off the camera because I've heard some other ones, but yeah.
Yeah, I've heard some of them too. But he didn't want to be in Washington. So you don't want to be one of us, get the hell out. Bye. Okay. But he still was a Hall of Fame defensive back. And what so you trade it was one of the things that was symptomatic of the Washington franchise at that time. You traded a Hall of Fame defensive back, one of the hardest positions to fill for a running back, which is one of the easiest positions to fill, So yeah, it was a bad trade from the aspect of value for value, but we love Clinton. Clinton gets love.
You're never gonna hear me say anything bad about Clinton Portis. I mean,
if I was gonna rank him 1, 2, 3, it'd be Riggo, and you skip 2 and go to 3 to Portis, and then Stephen Davis. So because Riggo deserves like a space in between him and Riggo is what made me. Well, no, I was a Redskins fan prior to that, but Riggo was the one who turned the corner for us. I mean, when he made us legitimate, And if it became an illness with me, it became an illness with me around that time, which of course I passed to you, and now it's an illness you can give your son as well. You know,
Yeah.
and you will be the only generation as a kid that didn't get to see it. Okay. So because Miles will come up hopefully and he will see that we're good and we're great. And that's how you build a fan base. You
Yeah.
them as kids, you know. The Nets still draw pretty good right now, even though they're just middle of the road, because those
That
kids
championship, that 2019 championship.
you know, if you were 12 in 2019, then right now you're like almost 20 years old. You know, you're what 6 years? You're 18, 19 years old.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, you grew up watching a championship. If you're a Caps fan, you know, and you were 14 or 15 years old at that time. You know, the reason I'm still a Wizards fan is because and when I was 16, they won a championship. And so I became a Bullet fan all my life and a Wizards fan. And I was the one that asked Ted Leonsis to change the name. Okay. So
And still to this day, the only thing I have to look forward to is John Wall building arenas. I'm God, that's a whole different story.
We got happy time. Yeah. So no, that it's a good question, but a bad question at the same time because it's an obvious answer. And I challenge anybody to tell me that you would take Clinton Portis or Stephen Davis or the two of them over John Riggins after what he accomplished here. Okay? And because we're always going to be a John Riggins town, you know, even before Joe Thousand.
Hold on. They had, and shout out to the guys over this these guys. They have a actual what's the name? A reporters guys station podcast called Rico's Rag.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that should tell you everything that we need to know.
And that man retired 30 years ago, maybe something like that. They won in 82. He's probably gone by 84, 85. So, you know, it's literally 30 years ago, but we still talk about him. You know, but the same way Pittsburgh still talks about Mean Joe Green and L.C. Greenwood and Dwight White, you know, and Webster.
Bill Curtin.
You know, and Mel Blunt and, you know, all those guys and whatever. You know, that's what the legacy was built upon. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, so, yeah, no, it's not even a question. It's Rick. Sorry.
But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna that's the last of it today. So Pops, is there anything that you want to tell these people about what to look forward to you for? Because I know you said that you was doing another show and you were a guest on. So
I'm doing a podcast called what's it called? Permission or Forgiveness. Okay. And it deals with the African American plight in the community. It's with some very educated, very knowledgeable brothers that I'm honored to be on there with, because every time I do that podcast, I learn something. You know, when I come to a sports podcast, I always think I've taught somebody something. Maybe not everything, but somebody learned something from me that they didn't know. But with these brothers, the teacher in me just sits back and listens a lot of times because they're a bunch of positive, well-accomplished Black men, very educated. Some of them are hard. I mean, what's the name? Ivy League educated, but they can still get down in the gutter with people. It's called Permission or Forgiveness. And soon as it's out, because we want as much exposure that we can get on this. So yeah, I will forward it to you, and you can give it to your folks and whatnot.
Most definitely, yeah, I'll be able to post it.
Promote. You know, we'll try to promote off the bench and whatever. Because I love these formats. I love doing these things. It gives you a platform and whatever.
Yeah, most definitely.
Got a lot of that stuff. You know, your dad's not the youngest man in the world, but I got a lot of that stuff with me. You know, I can tell those stories all day long and whatnot. So, but yeah.
Well, like I said, I mean, we want, and I will keep preaching this. We on Off the Bench, we want you guys to walk away feeling that you learned something. We're not gonna sit here and act like I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm the smartest guy in the room, because I'm not. But when it comes to knowledge of the game, I got something. And even if I don't know it, I got other people. I got Pops, I got Rick, I got Candy Waller, I got what's his name, Lake Lewis, I got Josh Morgan. I got people who I can ask and say and get the deeper knowledge on trying to. And that may be a brag, a flex, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I want people to learn something from this. I hope to get more people on here who have bigger names to go ahead and fill you in on the information, not just from like what you hear on the radio as far as like, and I know this to them. Like, I want you guys to know. I aspire to get my GOAT, Brian Mitchell, to come on here one day. And we could just sit here and just talk about like the ins and outs of the game, not just what goes on behind the scenes. Well, so we can go ahead and just fill you in on information so that when you walk into the bars and have these conversations, you're not looking at the dumbass where we're looking at you like, the fuck is he talking about? So no, I want you to come in here and feel like you learned something and walk away like, damn, he has a point. He knows his shit. Let me subscribe. Like I said before, guys, like, share, subscribe on the YouTube channel.
Do that, yes.
And hit that bell for the notification.
It costs you nothing to hit the like button. It don't cost you nothing.
Nothing at all. It's very free. What's the name? It's free 99. So, guys, also you can reach me on if you ever have any questions or anything like that. Want to talk about something? We go into my IG under off the bench _HTTC. Also, you can go ahead and God, for the life of me, it's great that you guys call to my good friends who know me personally. They go ahead and say stuff to me all the time, like, yo, the show was great and everything. I'm not gonna say that word. Put it in the comment section. The more that you actually talk in the comment section, this whole entire thing can grow and I can make it bigger than what it is. I appreciate and love the support that you guys are bringing on. Put it in the comment section. If you want to talk shit to me, put it in the comment section. If you want to praise this team, put it in the comment section. If you want to shit on this team, put it in the comment. Hell, I don't care. I welcome all. Eagles, what's the name? Cowboys, Giants, all of you. Come and put it in the comment section. Talk shit about us. I don't care.
Say it with your chest, boo. Say it with your chest. Okay.
Yeah. say it all. Also, guys, I'm just, since y'all didn't want to come over there and call it who you are now, because I've been trying to let you guys know. I wanted to give y'all a nickname. Since y'all ain't said it, I'm just gonna call y'all the bench warmers from now on. So yeah, that is your nickname from now on, the bench warmer crew. Thank you for like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification, that bell for the notifications. And as always, as we do on this channel, left hand up. Who are we? The Commanders. Peace. Yo, you made it to the end of Off the Bench. Be sure to like, share, subscribe. Man, look, it ain't gonna cost you that much. It ain't gonna cost you anything at all. Just press that like, that share, and subscribe. Help a brother out, man.